and we will get started. We are we've just, I don't know how we've done everything so much faster than we have in the past, and I don't know if I've done a good thing or a bad thing. I'm gonna have to think about it and rely on y'all's feedback. But we're at week 12. So that after this week we'll have 4 more classes. We have been through all of our basic 6 movements and our advanced 6 movements. So we have a lot of time to practice our moves that we have learned. This is the first time that I've ever been this ahead. And I know Annie is brand new, and she's not here to give her 2 cents today. Y'all are not brand new. So I don't know if I rushed through it and I need to slow down, or if you like that pace and get to this spot where we have a lot more time to practice our moves, thinking about principle, and also, like the past couple of weeks, I'll give you kind of something to focus on, where we focused on weight shift and hand movement, or we focused on, I don't know what all we've focused on in the past couple weeks. I've told you about practicing the Tai Chi walking, so I've kind of given you something specific to think about. What I thought about today is, the detail. Oh, I know. Another thing was, this Claire's tablet starting to beep, is when you get to the end of those movements, to take your time in the transition. So not to be in a hurry, which lends itself to slow, smooth, and continuous. That's what it was that I couldn't think of. So we've done a great job with taking principle and practicing. Today, one thing that stood out for me to talk about is that the wrist movement in commencement. When we stop to really think about our move, our hands are coming up, our hands are coming down. This is with commencement. Our hands are coming down with the weight shift, hand movement and weight shift, step, the certain direction and weight shifts that are involved with commencement. We don't really talk about the wrist in the initial instruction, but when we start to kind of put our own little extra into it, we think about how we can keep our wrists soft and move those wrists up and down. You see, there's that flick of the wrist. When we come up, the fingers are more pointed down. When we come down, those fingers are pointed up. So think about that as we go through our movements. But it really stands out with commencement with that wrist flick. And that's what I brought to mind this morning whenever we were, thinking about something to focus on. Another thing throughout is the soft and hard of Tai Chi. So here we're, in the nature of slow, smooth, and continuous, we're real easy in our joints. However, we're very much controlled in our posture. We're engaging our core muscles. And when we do that, that helps support us being upright. So we're less likely to fall when we engage these muscles. And at the same time, we're kind of light as air and soft and just moving so smoothly. So the soft and the hard together, that's that yin and yang, the opposite things that come together. That's that picture that's on our sweatshirts or our t-shirts. And so I was thinking about that too. So I'm just trying to think of places in our Tai Chi that we can, just direct our thinking and help us have a deeper experience with our Tai Chi as we come to the end of our 6 weeks. So let's just get that practice in. So those were the things I came up with, thinking about that wrist movement specific to commencement, and then just recognizing the hard and the soft of our Tai Chi and how we hold ourselves, but we move so gracefully. All right, so I think we're good and warm. It is kind of chilly outside today, which is odd because it was 80-something degrees yesterday, and today it's in the 60s. And we're going to build back up to 80-something and then go right back down to the 60s on Saturday. So our weather is just having some ups and downs. I guess it's bipolar a little bit, huh? But it gives us an opportunity. I saw this on the internet. Gives me the opportunity to wear some of the clothes that I didn't get to wear when it was cold. So I dipped right back down and I pulled out a fox sweater. So there we go. All right, let's get in our nice stable stance. I'm going to turn on our Tai Chi music. Already had it up. There it is. Getting our stable stance. Making sure we're not holding any tension anywhere. This is part of body awareness. Letting it go when we feel it, so that we don't create any problems for ourselves. I just specific think about headaches and when I hold my jaw really tight or clench my teeth. Raising up my shoulders and causing tension in my neck. Let's begin with our warm-ups of our neck. Remember, in our warm-ups, we still follow principle. Part of principle is not hair in my face, too. Struggling a little bit with words and getting my thoughts out. Excuse me on that. I'm overwhelmed by this Claris problem over here carrying on. All right, side to side. If you're able to breathe through your nose, put your tongue on that little shelf behind your teeth. Let it rest right there behind your teeth, and that will help you breathe better from your nose. And we know that we want to breathe out of our nose as much as possible because it filters the air. And we want that air to be filtered. But it's not always possible to breathe through your nose. Sometimes it's stopped up. And right now, allergy season, we got all the tree pollen. A lot of people are struggling. So if you are, that's probably why. Alright, let's roll our shoulders. Keeping it small, thinking the size of a quarter. and roll it back. Big shoulder circle. Get our ball and let's separate and stretch our spine. Inhale at the ball, exhale as you separate. Open this door. Now let's take our balls side to side, going in the direction of the hand that's on top. So in this moment, things that I think about are making sure I'm not holding or grabbing tension in my shoulders, which would be easy to do when you raise your hand up to grab tension in that location. So make sure you're not holding tension. And then taking your time as you switch. And then engaging this muscle. So pushing your torso side to side with those muscles engaged. Just adds that little extra use of your muscles, and anytime we use our muscles, they get stronger. So use it so you don't lose it.
As you get older, you lose it.
Yeah, you do. I'm among the aging now, Miss Linda. Perimenopause has aged me about 10 years. I said for the first time in my life, my body is failing me.
I didn't realize it until I went through it too.
I had no idea. You know, you don't usually until you experience things for yourself.
That's right.
But I just always thought I was in control, you know, in so many ways. And I tell you, that stuff will remind you real quick, you ain't in control of nothing.
That's right.
But I have been feeling better. I will have to say that. Last week was the first time I have felt really good since January when I got sick. I think I had somehow messed up. I just keep saying it had to do with my nervous system, with my vagus nerve. Whenever I passed out, I think I got all messed up. And it just took me a while to get back right.
Menopause works on your nerves.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize how much anxiety it can cause until my daughter was like, Mama, I wish you would stop saying that makes you nervous. I realized how many things were making me nervous.
Wait till she gets that age and she's going to say, I know what Mama was going through.
Oh, yeah. I've said that to her before, and she said, why do you wish things on me? There she is. Come here. I left the door open because I figured you'd come. Come meet Miss Linda. Hi. Here's Olivia herself.
All about you.
She said we were talking about you. She had a package. I wanted to make sure she got it.
Nice to meet you, honey.
What'd you say?
I told her it was nice to meet her.
She said it was nice to meet you. She said, nice to meet you. Love you. Bye. Yeah, she'll see one day, won't she?
Yeah. Maybe so. I'm getting all mixed up with my. You know what's the matter? I can't talk and chew gum at the same time.
I know this. Yeah, I'll shut that door now because I figured she would come here, and if I had that door shut, then she wouldn't come in. So I opened it because I had sent her a text to let her know her package had come.
I'm getting all mixed up with my foot and my hands.
Well, you know, we've talked about this before in how our brains don't like doing that opposite stuff. Our brains try to match it. So if we're putting a foot forward, our hands want to be forward because that in our brain that makes sense. So our brains fight us on that whenever we're place our foot one way and then place our hands. So rather than trying to do it all together, place one, whether if it's your hands, fine, and then place your foot. And then come back to center and then do the next thing. Put your heel forward and then place your hands back. So then do one thing at the time, and then that may make it easier for you.
Yeah, it would. I think what it is my talking has got me all confused.
All right. Well, I'll stop talking. I will. You know, I'm a blabbermouth. Sometimes I just talk too much.
What I'm trying to say is I get distracted with my mind.
Oh, I know it. Sometimes I interrupt my thoughts with another thought, and next thing you know, I done forgot what I was supposed to be thinking about. Let's just go side to side.
I can only think one way.
That's right. Well, we're thinking slow, smooth, and continuous. Weight transfer. We can just, anything you think of a Tai Chi principle, and for the most part, we're doing all of them at the same time. All right, for our knees, there's another opposite one. And it takes a lot of balance too. But if you want to just skip the hand movement and put that foot out there, leave your hands at your hips, if that's easier for you.
I'd rather do both of them because I I know I need both top and bottom.
Well, it's good for your brain to do the cross lateral, and then it's supposedly a counterbalance, and plus it's an exercise for your arms.
Yeah.
We can step out and shift forward and back. I like this one because there's a lot of weight shifting. We shift side to side, we shift front to back. Dadgum clearest. Yeah, it's froze up again. I'm just going to turn it off. I'll tell them.
They're still working on it.
Huh?
I said apparently they're still working on it then.
Yeah, well, thankfully they let you into class.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't believe I'd have gotten class though if you hadn't actually pulled me in there.
Huh. Well, there we go. I'm glad. But I will message them to let them know my tablet's froze up too. So it's not just yours. It may be a system thing.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
I was afraid it might be something I was doing.
Well, that's why I keep a tablet so that I can look, and I brought mine to your house and, we kind of compared the two and to see what yours was doing and, mine was doing and what it looked like.
You froze up then.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think the internet's maybe just whacked up.
It could very well be from the wind.
Mm-hmm. I know earlier our secretary said that her internet wasn't working at her computer.
Today?
Uh-huh. But mine was working at mine. I don't understand.
That's not good with that.
That feels really good on my ankles today.
Notice mine, it gets so heavy.
All right, give yourself a good shake. We are going to practice our basic 6 movements. Remember what I said about the wrist thing, where when we come up, our fingers are more pointed down. When we go down, they're more pointed up. And they just kind of float with the movement. So we're not rigid in those joints right there. We let them kind of float up and down. When I think about moving through water, that's kind of what your hands would do if you were moving through water. Just very loose and kind of flop up and down. So think about that with our commencement movement. All right, from the top, basic 6. Reminding yourself of any principle you might want to focus on. Specifically, I want you to make sure that you always keep a good posture because it's about body awareness and how you carry yourself in the world, not just in Tai Chi class, but we learn it in Tai Chi class and we practice it in Tai Chi class. So at the very least, carry yourself through these movements in a way that keeps you or lessens your chance of falls, and good posture does that. All right, here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Remember, we do 6, whether you count turns or steps. I count turns since they're last. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. All right, let's do it again. Basic 6. So maybe you caught yourself making a blunder, or, maybe you didn't do something exactly right. That's okay. Just regroup and do better this time. Here we go, and commence. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. So with each time you should get a little better and better, or more settled into the movement. Let's do it again, and then if there's anything you want to go over, we'll go over it in our basic 6. If not, we'll move on to our advanced 6. And then we'll put them together. Basic 6 and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. How is that, Miss Linda? You feeling better with those movements?
Yeah.
Hopefully you're fit.
Back into it.
Say that again.
I said I think I just had to get back into it, get to
All right. Well, let's do it a couple more times. How about that? Before we move on to advanced. That sound good? Okay. All right. Let's do it a couple more times and then we'll move to our advanced. I want you to feel confident in these movements and just let it relax you and let you feel strong in your stance as you empty step and weight shift. You know, I told you to practice, if you have the time, the walking to the left and the right, the Tai Chi walking, where you place a foot, then shift the weight, place a foot. You know, we're just walking to the side. I mean, this simple movement right there can do so much for your balance and the strength of your legs. You don't have to worry so much about, you know, the hand part where you're, you know, stepping and switching and turning and then shift. You know, there's a lot going on with waving hands and clouds. But to just practice the base of that movement where you Tai Chi walk to the side will do you a world of good with the confidence in the strength of your legs. And then when you get to practicing the move all together, then the spacing of your steps will happen more naturally because of your practice. So I really encourage that, as well as, you know, just Tai Chi walking forward, or to better your advanced 6 movements, to take that step forward, shift, follow step, and then back, shift, follow step. So you're taking a step forward, follow step, taking a step back, follow step. That empty step, shift, empty step. Empty step, shift, empty step. So that when you get used to how small those spaces are of your feet, then advanced 6 will start being easier because you have that muscle memory of how big those steps are. All right, let's go through basic 6 again. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. And so I know I talked about the empty step and how empty stepping prolongs the other leg holding your weight. But I also want to acknowledge that sometimes we have pains. Sometimes it's in our hip, sometimes it's in our knee. You know, we have pain in our body, and that may keep us from holding weight for a long time on one leg. And so I don't want you to just be trying to suffer through pain before you shift the weight. So I know that you can modify, that you can do what you need to do to take care of your joints and your physical experience with the Tai Chi. So I always want to say that listen to your body. You know, sometimes we have to push through a little bit of uncomfortable. But if it's a sharp pain, you know, something may be wrong and you might want to get that checked out. But listen to your body. No one lives in your body but you. And so trust yourself when you say, yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, you remember when I went through that little foot thing and I said, I can't even walk. So, you know, you have to modify sometimes. All right, let's do it one more time and then we're going to practice our advanced 6. Here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. Advanced 6. This is our challenge. Remember, with the challenge of step, follow step, step, shift, follow step. So we're practicing the spacing, the empty step, weight transfer with hand movement. All right, from the top, we go to the left first, brush knee. Take your time, shift as I push, follow step. Play the lute, shift as those hands pass, follow step. Parry punch, flip, shift and parry. Flip, shift and parry. Shift as I deliver, follow step. Block and close. Step back, release hands. Shift as they come to my hips, follow step. Push the tiger, step, shift. Follow step to the front. Open, close. Brush knee. Take your time. Play the lute. Parry punch. No tension. Good posture. Easy. Nice and smooth. Push the tiger to the front. Open, close. Again, brush knee, shift, right toe in, shift right, lay right, separate, prepare. Step left, right hand comes up and turns. Shift left as I push and follow step right. I say push to really think about gentle resistance. Play the lute. Step back, turn hands. Shift as those hands pass. Follow step. Parry punch. Step and flip. Shift and parry. Step and flip. Shift and parry. step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step, block and close, step, release hands, shift, follow step, push the tiger, step, shift as I push, follow step to the front, open, close, brush knee to the right, separate, shift as I push, follow step, play the loop, shift as they pass, parry punch, shift and parry, shift and parry, shift, deliver, block and close, shift to the hips, push the tiger, shift as I push, follow step to the front, open, close. So yes, these are more challenging, especially brush knee, where we're going from facing the front to facing the left. But we just take our time with it. We shift. We turn that toe. We shift and lay that hand. We separate and pull that foot back to get ready to step. We bring that hand up and turn. Shift as I push. And then follow step. So that was a lot of things happening just to go from facing the front to facing the left. So just take your time with it. Huh?
It's hard. It's hard to go slow.
It is. It is very, that going slow is so much harder than going fast. But you can speed it up a little bit. I mean, I'm dragging it out to just make sure you see the pieces and the parts. You can modify your feet for what you need it to do based on the feelings of your joints. I know I talked about if you have knee problems, it may hurt to turn that foot in. You may need to step out and give yourself some space. You may not be able to pull that foot all the way in right before you step, because pulling that foot in, it really goes against what we talk about spacing our feet out hip width or shoulder width apart. Even if we momentarily pull it in, that still puts our feet right beside each other. And every time, you pull in, that may make you feel really wobbly. So maybe you don't pull it all the way in. Maybe instead you leave it where it is and you just turn and push. So, turn and step, don't push. Turn, just pick that foot up and then finish the step rather than pulling it all the way back. Now, one time when I was in training, I did that. I didn't do the pull the foot back and then step. And they got onto me. Of course, you don't really get in trouble in Tai Chi, but they pointed out that was missing. But when we have permission to modify, then I say we have permission to modify to what we need to stay safe, because we want to stay upright. Staying safe is more important than anything. Listen to our body is more important than anything. So that Dr. Lamb, he had purposes for his things, but I love that he gives us permission that safety is first. All right, so let's put it all together one time with our music, and then we'll cool down. I know I yapped a lot, but all right, here.
It helps me the more that you talk about it, because
Okay.
it's stay in my brain.
Good. I'm glad. Well, just repeating things and saying things in a different way, I think, is helpful. And then, you'll practice and you'll think about one thing so much. You're worried about upright posture. Okay, I got to keep my upright posture. Or you're worried about, okay, I got to make sure I'm not holding my breath. Most importantly, upright posture and I'm breathing. Even if you're not going exactly slow, you may be going a little bit fast, but we really want to think about upright posture and breathing. You focus about those focus on those, and it's easy to forget things like the whole wrist thing. So, just re-talking about it and, empty step. Shoot, I'm glad I just remembered I was going to step. Never mind about an empty step. So, yeah, re-talking about it is good. So let me start this song over. We'll do it a basic 6 and advanced 6, then cool down. All right, here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Advanced 6, starting with brush knee to the left. Play the loop. Carry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Carry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. Open, close. Close it out. So that's a pretty good pace on the music. We know that Dr. Lamb wrote that music, or his daughter wrote the music to match the pace of the program. So yeah, that's great. That's a great job, a great pace to practice. I know it's easy to get fast because we're thinking about what's next, or we're not wanting to hold weight on one leg a long time, so we get a little speedy. So it's good to remind ourselves just how slow it is. All right, let's gather tension and release. Gather and release. I'm sorry for going over time.
That's all right.
Gather and release. Shoulder circle. Breathe. Be aware of tension. Be aware of it too. Don't want you holding tension in places that can cause you pain. One more. Inhale up and exhale down. We have our right fist, a loose right fist that represents our strength. Our left fingers together representing our friendship. Our thumb in our humility and our reminder that we have so much to learn. We put that together in mutual respect. We say, Namaste. Yay, Nora, you made it back. All right, so y'all be thinking about, future prize, completer prizes. Yeah, I got you on that, Nora. I led with that. But moving forward, if we, how we want to do that.
Okay.
So, y'all just let me know. We'll talk about it next time. Next week will be March 31st, and it will be Olivia's 18th birthday.
Oh, my.
So, I don't know if Nora, you were on and you saw Olivia came up here a while ago. But yeah, Olivia will be 18 next week, and I will officially have adults as children. I will have no more minors.
Are we having class?
Huh?
Are we having class?
Yes, we will have class. The next week we will not have class, just to give you a heads up. It is Olivia's spring break, and she's off of school, and Patrick plays baseball that day, and that will be her first game that she is able to go and see him play. So I told her that I would be happy to cancel class and go, and we can all go and watch Patrick play ball. So I'll remind y'all of that next week.
Okay.
All right. Well, I love y'all. Y'all let me know if you need anything, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Next week?
Ma'am?
Are we going to meet next week?
Yes, ma'am. Bye, Miss Nora. Yes, we'll meet next week, Miss Linda.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
If I keep having problems, I'm going to let you know.
Oh, please do. Please do.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Okay. For the rest of the week.
You too, darling. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.